So Nuts.com was founded in 1929. We're a family-owned and operated business. That's one of the neat things that attracted me to the company. They're still involved. Jeff is our chairman of the board, and still interacts on a daily basis. It's grown up through the family, and it's grown into a great company. And they're an e-commerce company. We sell like nuts and online groceries essentially, but I mean a wide variety. We have a warehouse where we do a lot of the roasting and the chocolates in-house. So it's all premium chocolate and premium done. I've took a couple of visits and it's really neat. It's really like a Willy Wonka chocolate factory when you get to see it and smell it and all that stuff. So, but a little about me. I've been here almost 3 years. I'm the payroll and HRIS manager. So anything with the HR technology, I work with our comp and benefits in that type of area. And then, with our goals and reviews as well. So.
Okay, awesome. So how did OKRs come about in Nuts.com? Right? What's the history? Maybe you can throw a little bit of light on the background. Yeah.
Yeah. So the great thing is that some of the OKR methodology was there kind of prior to me joining. So they kind of went down that path and started formulating that, and the big belief in how Google did some of that, and then they were trying to capture what we needed to track in order to see where our stats were, see where we were failing, see where we could improve. So they kind of had a lot of that in place when I started, which was good.
Okay, great. And in terms of the challenges, right, that OKRs were supposed to solve, according to you, what are the challenges that you think OKRs are great to solve, and specifically in the context of Nuts.com? Yeah.
So the biggest challenge I think that we were trying to solve is transparency. We tracked our OKRs in a Google Sheet, which made it somewhat difficult to access and to everybody to see across the board, like who owned what, when things were updated, how to see the history of stuff, because it was all really inside of a Google Sheet, and it just didn't, it felt like to the leaders that you just couldn't see everything, you couldn't keep a close hand on it. But I mean, that's why we were looking at an OKR type system. Mid-year review for the performance management system. So like in July, we launched it in June for a July mid-year review.
Oh, okay. So does it mean that you started off with OKRs, reached a certain level of comfort, and then you brought in performance management system? How did that work out actually?
So we kind of combined it all together. So we, because we were lucky enough to have kind of a starter with OKRs, we had that kind of documented on the Google Sheets, and knowing we had a somewhat of a aggressive timeline. So we signed in May. And then we were going to do mid-year reviews. So the thought was, let's embrace it together, get the system, and just jump right into bring what we had for individual goals, OKRs, everything in the system, and do the mid-year review in ProfitCo, which worked out great. I mean, I think it got everybody exposed to the system, everybody invested in the system, and they went through more in the system with that mid-year review. So.
What was the view internally in Nuts.com? Did you discuss, the pros and cons of bringing in OKRs and PMS together, or even today, how does it actually look?
So we had a long conversation in early 2023 to say, is that what we really wanted to do? How did we want to identify OKRs, and how much did we want to put that into the performance review? And strategically, we sat down and we decided that's what we wanted to do, and we wanted to make sure it captured everything and gave that feedback back and forth with managers. And so that's why we, kind of look for a system, and we think it works really great. Of course, there's challenges, but the mid-year review, and even we went through year-end review, being able to see that along the way, check in along the way, and then, it's kind of like you don't have a surprise at the end of the year. You know what you're being graded on, and you see it, kind of in that review, and be able to, capture that.
Apart from that, in terms of the tool, using the tool itself, right? Onboarding and adoption. What was the experience for folks, using a tool from Google Sheet?
I mean, I think a lot of people were excited because it was like the biggest thing that we keep preaching, and all the way up to the top, the transparency. We allowed everybody to see everybody's goals and OKRs within the system, so it opens a world of opportunity to see other people's goals or OKRs, and see like, okay, what are they working on, or it gives you some ideas of what, hey, maybe I should structure mine this way. So I think a lot of people were open to it, and probably a little curious on what other people were working on. So like they kind of got a picture into everyone's world. So I think and then just the system naturally flows, so you get a little more user feel than just a Google sheet. Google sheet, you're filtering, you're trying to search for stuff. It's easy to maneuver around in the system. So.
And, and what's the feedback from folks, managers, and employees? Have they found it reasonably easy to use, or what has been the feedback?
Yeah, a lot of the feedback we got was is much easier to use than Paycom. The screens and the flow. If they did need to make a change, it was much easier to use. And you can see everything real time. If you were to update a goal or an OKR, it was reflective in there. The comments you could see, so you could see everything in one place. Managers kind of said the same thing. We worked with the team to have mid-year reviews carry over the scores into year end. So I think managers really like that. You're not started from scratch. You started from what you kind of had in the mid-year and then could adjust. So they really like that feature. So.
Right. You're probably in the 2 years in your OKR program, right? And what has been your feedback in terms of the value that it has delivered? Right? What do you think are the positive changes that you see? Right? Has it really delivered any great value? What has been your feedback?
I mean, definitely, and I would say a lot of the change over time has probably been like what KPIs to use. And a lot of that I think came with the system. We may have been identifying how to measure something a certain way, and then kind of as we put it in the system, and you see those results come back, it's like, is that really the way we want to measure it? Is that really roll up the way we thought? So we've over time changed the way we've measured. But it gives, I think, management would say the same thing, or senior manager would say the same. It's a deeper dive or deeper look into how we're doing on sales or marketing, or the lines of business, how, seeing that detail that we didn't see before. So I think it really, identifying the right measurements brings that out.
And overall, what has been your experience with Profit.co, the product, the people, right, the company? What has been your experience so far? Yeah.
I mean, I've been impressed with your level of service, everything from implementation to your day-to-day service. We were a little hesitant on that. Was one of the things. We reached out for some references, just what was this service going to be like? And we were shocked and way above what we expected. We took everything we had, Google Sheets, Paycom, all that, and put into Profit.co. And you all were there step by step. You helped key a lot of that. You helped, I think, import some of it, but like just a hands-on approach. And then even the evaluation of, hey, maybe you can do this better, or maybe you can look at this. So that was just been a great feel. Like we weren't just the system; it was the system plus the knowledge and the service, and throughout the process, you all been there. So really impressed with the service.